I can't get enough of you. Subscribe, like, and share. Our new director has a talent for putting people in awkward situations. It seemed difficult to catch a taxi from this ambiguous location. Going back to the bus stop to wait for a bus would take even more time. So-eun had no choice but to walk the awkward distance. Although it was past 7 p.m., the weather was still hot and humid. Sweat formed on her forehead and trickled down her cheeks as she walked briskly. Fortunately, the distance wasn't far, and she arrived at the bar without being late. She saw Hee-wook waiting at the stairs of the bar. She ran to him with joy. "Appa, were you waiting for me? What are you doing here?" However, Hee-wook didn't welcome her. So-eun's excited expression quickly faded. "Should I just leave then?" "No. You must have had a hard time getting here. Look at you, all sweaty." Hee-wook took out a handkerchief from his pocket and wiped the sweat off So-eun's face. The floral pattern on the handkerchief caught her eye. "The handkerchief is pretty. Was it a gift?" "So-eun, I have a favor to ask." Whether he didn't hear her question or chose to ignore it, Hee-wook diverted the topic. His eyebrows drooped, indicating he was about to discuss something serious. "Actually, I didn't tell anyone at work that you donated for my mom's surgery. No one knows." "What?" "We're grateful to you, but we don't know what others might think. If it gets out, it could be a big deal. The world is small, and rumors can spread. I thought it wouldn't be good for you either." "You didn't tell your company either. You said you were traveling." That was because she was afraid of being disadvantaged for health reasons. Though feeling unjust, So-eun couldn't argue. She was at a loss for words. "When we get married, it wouldn't be good if people said Lawyer Yang Hee-wook married someone because of a weak point. You'd be concerned too. Do you understand?" It felt like he was urging her to understand. But showing displeasure wasn't an option. Love isn't about flaunting. It's not about expecting something in return after giving. "Yes, I understand." "Thank you. I appreciate it. Let's go up." They ascended the stairs like a couple in love. As soon as they opened the bar door, a woman ran to the entrance, calling So-eun's name. "I'm Choi Hyun-ji. Nice to meet you." It was lawyer Choi Hyun-ji, whom she had seen in photos. "Hello, lawyer." So-eun bowed. Hyun-ji, holding her hand, led her inside and teased Hee-wook. Lawyer Yang insisted on picking up his girlfriend. Hyun-ji's tone was friendly. Hee-wook just smiled sheepishly without a word. Knowing why Hee-wook had waited outside, So-eun felt a bit conflicted. "Everyone, we have Lawyer Yang Hee-wook's girlfriend, Han So-eun, with us," Hyun-ji announced loudly once they reached their table. 3 men cheered and clapped. So-eun greeted everyone and sat next to Hee-wook. Hyun-ji sat on the other side of Hee-wook. After a while, Hyun-ji spoke to So-eun, who was sitting quietly. "So-eun, what do you do?" Leaning towards So-eun to talk, Hyun-ji naturally ended up leaning on Hee-wook. "I work at K Electronic Services." "So, you're a service technician? Can you fix anything?" "My field is mobile phones, but I know a bit about other devices too." "Wow, amazing. My fridge at home is from K Electronics, and it's not working well. Could you come over sometime?" Feeling swept along by Hyun-ji's request, So-eun nodded. "If you invite me, I'll take a look." "Wow, I'll set a date right away." Excited, Hyun-ji raised her voice and stumbled. Since she was half leaning on Hee-wook, he caught her. "Lawyer Choi, aren't you too drunk?" Hee-wook asked with a smiling face as he steadied her. "I know. I'm so tired." Hyun-ji admitted her intoxication with a smile. "Lawyer Yang, I've really had a hard time. You know that, right?" "Yes, I know. I appreciate it. I took care of many things when your mom had surgery." "Yes, I'm very grateful for that. Then you should repay me." "Right." Despite being invited, she felt out of place. The conversation was dominated by case discussions, leaving So-eun to sit there like a silent bystander. When Hee-wook stepped out to take a call, Hyun-ji moved closer and offered her a drink. So-eun, have a drink. No, I'm fine. Oh, come on. You came all this way. Just one drink, please. Hyun-ji pushed the glass close to So-eun's face, pleading playfully. So-eun swallowed nervously, but remained firm. Before her surgery, So-eun enjoyed drinking. She would often relax at home with a beer after work. But now, she avoided all alcohol for health reasons. She planned to abstain for at least 6 months until her liver fully recovered. It would be nice if my boyfriend could intervene. In her heart, a fragile voice cried out, "Don't drink that liquor." But she couldn't refuse, not without telling the real reason. "I'll just drink a little to not ruin the mood." So-eun accepted the glass from Hyun-ji and took a sip. The warmth of the liquor spread quickly down her throat. The long-forgotten taste of alcohol brought a sweet sensation. The warmth permeated her body, giving her a sense of comfort. Feeling no immediate harm, her courage grew. One sip turned into another, and soon she had finished the glass. I should stop now, but So-eun found herself envying the others' full glasses. Just watching them drink made her feel pleasantly tipsy. She smiled gently, but when Hee-wook returned, he abruptly grabbed her arm and pulled her up. She was dragged to the restroom without resistance. "Are you crazy? How much did you drink?" he scolded, his voice low and his face full of disapproval. "I only had 1 glass." "That's strong liquor. You need to take care of yourself." Feeling hurt and resentful, So-eun looked at Hee-wook, who was now speaking to her like a scolding older brother. "I thought you'd handle it better. Do I have to watch everything you do?" He continued reprimanding her. "Why did you come here anyway? This is where I work. There's nothing interesting for you, and you can't join the conversation. Why did you come? You shouldn't have accepted Hyun-ji's offer so readily. You should have politely declined. Don't you know when to back out?" Hyun-ji? The mention of her name stunned So-eun, making everything else he said fade away. "I'll take you home now. Let's go downstairs." "I want to stay here. I'm worried you might collapse. I'll feel more comfortable if you leave now." But Hee-wook persisted gently. "It's better to leave while you're ahead. The longer you stay, the more awkward it gets for me." His calm yet firm reasoning left So-eun silent. "I'm not good with words." She remained quiet because she feared saying the wrong thing could hurt someone. So-eun, feeling it was better to bear her own pain than to cause others distress, couldn't argue back. Eventually, she conceded. Noticing her decision, Hee-wook smiled and led her back to the table. "So-eun is leaving now," he announced. Hyun-ji leaned forward and asked, "Huh? Are you going with her, Lawyer Yang?" "I'm just seeing her off. Only to the downstairs." Hee-wook looked at Hyun-ji with genuine affection, like she was a princess, before turning back to So-eun and wrapping his arm around her shoulder. Hyun-ji stared at So-eun and Hee-wook for a long time before letting out a bitter sigh and murmuring quietly, "I don't understand. What does he see in her?" Seeing Han So-eun in person made Hyun-ji even more curious. How much would her charm work on young Hee-wook? Would he react if she made a move? How much would he react? Sitting on a bench in front of a convenience store, she shook an ice cream stick and called out to him, "Oh, director." Tae-joon, hiding the fact that he had stopped by the bar, asked So-eun, "Weren't you supposed to meet your boyfriend? Why are you alone?" "Exactly. Why am I alone?" So-eun replied blankly, then suddenly hung her head as if confessing something embarrassing. "The truth is, I know why I'm alone," she continued. "I've been abandoned here and there, so now I'm alone." Feeling a pang of guilt for dropping her off earlier, Tae-joon sat next to her and apologized voluntarily. "I'm sorry for making you get out of the car earlier. I was in a hurry and didn't think it through." I understand. It was really nice of you to drive me that far. I saved some money too. So-eun replied, waving her hand dismissively. I'm not upset with you at all. That eel rice bowl was so delicious. Drunk, So-eun began talking about things Tae-joon hadn't asked, reminiscing happily while even smacking her lips. It was the best eel rice bowl I've ever had in my life. Do you want me to buy it for you again? No, I'll buy it myself next time. With my own money. I even took a photo. I plan to have it again. So-eun slowly fished out her phone from her bag and showed Tae-joon a photo of the eel rice bowl. Normally, eel rice bowls come with half an eel, but this one had a whole eel. The best part is the rice. With fluffy egg strands and a piece of eel on top, it's so delicious. Oh, you bought it for me. Seeing her relaxed face despite being in front of a company superior was amusing, yet something about it made Tae-joon uneasy. Each time So-eun's had drooped to one side, Tae-joon raised his arm, only to lower it again. Are you usually bad with alcohol? No, I used to love it. I haven't drunk in a long time though. Her voice lowered again, admitting she hadn't drunk in a while. Though she smiled, it wasn't a joyful expression. She looked pitiful and sad. The girl who used to shine so brightly had lost her light. 20 years is enough time for such things to happen, but Tae-joon couldn't accept the faded girl. Where's your boyfriend? Why are you here alone? He's okay now, but I wanted to tell you something. What is it? Honestly, I was really scared today. When you offered to drive me to Seoul, I thought I was done for, but then I remembered. Remembered what? The eel rice bowl. Tae-joon found So-eun's reasoning absurd and immediately contradicted her. You don't know life. Even someone who buys you eel rice can be a bad person. So-eun laughed weakly. I know. I do know. But I just want to believe it. She took a deep, hot breath, as if her tears had evaporated. She wanted to believe that all the love she received was real, without any conditions. She gave a part of herself because she thought it would make her happier than not giving it. Now, to whine about why love had changed seemed so pitiful. Still, to some people, eel rice bowls come naturally. I wanted unconditional eel rice bowls. Is eel rice natural for you too, director? That eel rice bowl is something I can only have if I cover my mother's weekend meals. Must be nice. I want to receive without giving too. I want to be loved. I just want to be loved. That's all. Her sigh-like story blended into the night air. Every time So-eun realized her shoulders had slumped, she straightened her spine. Her stiff posture looked unstable to Tae-joon, as if she might crumble at a touch yet was desperately holding on. Seeing her white hands clutching her bag made Tae-joon's heart ache, as if pinched by something. I want to whine too. She whined about wanting to whine. Tae-joon had always been cold to women who whined and clung to him. He couldn't be lenient with So-eun either. A sad face isn't entertaining. I'm not the type to listen to a drunken woman's complaints. Tae-joon thought it was time to leave. Even if I whine, I want to be comforted without having achieved anything. But he found himself sitting back down. I want to be pampered and spoiled like a princess too. Her continued laments sounded like a baby bird crying for its mother. Though her voice was low, it seemed urgent, and Tae-joon felt a growing ache in his chest. I want to be loved while living recklessly. Though the words came from her lips, they felt like they were his own thoughts. I want to be loved. Like a bland yet addictive snack, he couldn't stop watching, even though it wasn't particularly entertaining. The streetlights cast a soft glow on So-eun's flushed cheeks. Tae-joon felt irritated by how her glasses had slipped down her nose and wanted to push them back up or even pull them off completely. Still, with her glasses slightly askew, her kind-looking eyes were partially visible. However, she kept her eyelids lowered, preventing him from seeing her pupils. Her long eyelashes cast a shadow, giving her a melancholic look, though her small, plump lips moved constantly, making her seem cheerful. Her expressions kept drawing his attention. After drinking for the first time in a while, So-eun was expressing herself in various colorful ways. She hummed an indistinct tune, muttered to herself, laughed, and listed different foods, smacking her lips as she did so. Tae-joon's face, initially indifferent, began to reflect subtle changes as he watched her. But she seemed to have no intention of meeting his gaze. Though she must have noticed his eyes on her, she paid no attention. It was as if she was treating him like he wasn't there, but oddly, she would occasionally talk to him. I like to have fun too. I don't like working hard. I just want to live comfortably. You asked why I joined K-Group. Tae-joon's eyes widened slightly as he had been gazing at her absent-mindedly. There's no specific reason I joined K-Group. It's just a common dream for many job seekers. If you get accepted, you go. If you don't get fired, you stay. Her slow but clear voice sounded sincere. It didn't seem like a lie, and Tae-joon frowned slightly. So, does she really not know what her biological father did 20 years ago? Has no one told her the truth? In his confusion, she kept babbling. You wouldn't know about things like K-Group's aptitude tests, right? Must be nice. I'm jealous. Listening quietly, Tae-joon asked sarcastically, do you know who I am? I'm someone who received a top-tier education at an Ivy League school. Just getting accepted to such a prestigious university is tough. Feeling a sudden urge to defend himself, which he usually wouldn't, Tae-joon stopped when he saw her unfocused eyes. I graduated with honors from a university that's hard to get into, completed major projects, earned an MBA, and received multiple offers from various companies. With my skills, I'm bound to secure a good position anywhere. Explaining all this to a drunk girl who wouldn't remember any of it was exhausting and pointless. Anyway, I'm not here because of nepotism. I'm qualified to be an executive. It's all the same. So-eun had a charming talent for saying everything she wanted with a blank, innocent face. Surprised, Tae-joon raised his voice slightly and looked down at her. He still couldn't see her face clearly because of her thick glasses, which acted as a barrier. What do you mean it's all the same? Isn't it? Is that so? Now you're teasing me and even speaking informally. Her casual reply made Tae-joon's lips tighten with frustration. Her carefree responses overlapped with the reactions of a 7-year-old girl who used to follow him around 20 years ago. He couldn't shake off his suspicions. Was she doing this on purpose? Do you remember me and are you teasing me now? Emotions he had buried for 20 years began to stir. You're not drunk, are you? You're doing this on purpose, aren't you? I'm drunk. That's why I'm like this. How could I dare do this to you? No, you're not drunk. I really am. Oh, it's so unfair. What's so unfair? It's been so long, I'm so happy. What's been so long? Drinking. I told you it's been a long time since I had a drink. With such poor memory, how did you get into the Ivy League? He laughed incredulously, but then So-eun began to scold herself. Wow, I'm so articulate. Why did I act that way? Why did I do that? She was regretting not being able to stand up to Hee-wook's scolding at the bar. Muttering to herself, Tae-joon's nostrils flared as he watched. She seemed completely uninterested in his story. Tae-joon swallowed a bitter laugh. He had to accept the reality. You don't remember me. Of course not. Not many people remember their 7-year-old selves, especially not someone they haven't seen for 20 years. Kim Tae-joon didn't occupy any part of So-eun's life. Her joining K-Group was purely coincidental. That was the truth. The simple truth. Realizing this left him feeling deflated. Did I really come all the way across the ocean to find this out? While his thoughts drifted, the night grew darker. Now what? He couldn't carry her to the parking lot, and hailing a taxi for her felt too troublesome. Tae-joon made a significant decision. "I'll bring the car around, wait here. I'll drive you home." But she seemed to only half hear him. "Just stay here, okay? Understand? I won't leave you this time." "Yes, thank you." Her drunken politeness was oddly endearing. Watching her sway as she bowed, Tae-joon carefully left her and walked towards the parking lot. Once she was out of sight, he quickened his pace. It didn't take long for Tae-joon to pay for the parking and drive back. Despite some traffic, he quickly returned to the bench in front of the convenience store. But So-eun was nowhere to be seen. Surprised, Tae-joon looked around. So-eun was nowhere in sight. He scanned the streets in every direction but couldn't find anyone who resembled her. The only thing left on the bench where she had been sitting was her glasses. She had left her glasses behind and vanished. Like a magician, Tae-joon picked up the glasses and let out a heavy sigh. He had thought about taking them off for himself, but she had done it on her own and left. In his mind, he pictured her drunkenly catching a taxi and falling asleep inside. Will she get home safely? Tae-joon returned to his car with the glasses and got back behind the wheel. But as soon as he started the car, he hesitated, his mind suddenly putting on the brakes. What a joke. What was I trying to do? What was the point of following her home? Just to give her back her glasses? I went too far today. I was too out of character, acting so recklessly. I went to the bar because I was curious about this insignificant woman, watched her antics on the street like an idiot, and then rushed to drive her home. After So-eun disappeared like a mirage, he realized how absurd and foolish his actions had been. He had come back to Korea early because of curiosity. He wanted to know why So-eun had joined K-group, whether she knew about what her father had done, whether she was aware of the truth. And he had found out the truth. So-eun had no contact with her father. She had joined K-group simply because it was a good company for job seekers. That was all there was to it. So now that his curiosity was satisfied, what more was there? Tae-joon thought he must have been momentarily possessed today. Was that really all there was to it? Couldn't he have found out those simple truths through a counselor? Wouldn't that have been easier? His interest had peaked when the counselor sent him a photo of So-eun. Using curiosity as an excuse, he had flown to Korea to see the woman in the photo in person. Sure, it was just simple curiosity, pure curiosity, but the desire that had been lurking in the shadows finally surfaced. He remembered why he had first wanted to find this woman. Kim Tae-joon, you still want to play with her. So-eun woke up in her studio apartment and instinctively reached for her glasses on the bed, but they were nowhere to be found. Where are my glasses? She had no memory of what she bought, how she got a taxi, or how she got home. But she was home safely, and that was what mattered. She still felt a bit tired. Even though she had only had one drink, it must have shocked her body. But she felt better than she had feared and resolved never to drink again. After reluctantly drinking at the bar, she had received quite a scolding from her boyfriend, Hee-wook. He didn't want her to stay, and she had left, feeling hurt. It had felt really depressing at the time, but now she felt relieved, as if she had let out all her bottled-up feelings. But where were her glasses? Where had she left them? Trying to recall the events of the previous night, So-eun feeling a strange sensation. What is this memory? Who did I talk to yesterday? A suited man flickered in her memory. Her memories were blurry, like looking through the wrong prescription glasses. After washing up, So-eun switched to contact lenses, hoping it would clear her vision and her memories. Something was almost coming back to her mind, but then stopped. She suddenly felt the blood drain from her face again. No, what is this? Who is this crazy woman vividly stuck in my mind? But she quickly shook her head. No, it couldn't be. It must have been a dream. I'm introverted and reserved. I wouldn't do something like that. I've never caused trouble when I was drunk before. So-eun was sure of herself. She wasn't the type to lose control so easily. But as she gulped down more water, a sudden flash of memory made her drop the water bottle. You wouldn't know about things like K-group's aptitude tests, right? Must be nice. I'm jealous. You're jealous of that? You became an executive, didn't you? What did I do? I must be crazy. You're crazy, So-eun. So-eun left the house without her thick glasses for the first time in a while. Wearing contacts made her feel as if she were missing an article of clothing, adding to her embarrassment. No, it was more likely because of what she had done the previous night. Why had she, So-eun, said such crazy things to her superior, Director Kim, last night? If she had done something embarrassing, it would have been better to forget it completely. Why did these fragmented memories keep tormenting her? She wished these memory fragments were just a dream. It would be great if it were just a dream, more vivid than a 4D experience. So-eun saw the tall man walking by. She sat down, hiding her inner turmoil. At that moment, someone called out in a cheerful voice. "Good morning, Director." So-eun quickly slid off her chair and ducked under her desk, her heart pounding with shame. Her instincts, well aware of embarrassment, kicked in. "Please don't come here. Please." Fortunately, Director Kim Tae-joon accepted greetings from a few employees, scanned the room briefly, and left. Bobae, thinking So-eun was hiding because of yesterday's scolding from Director Kim, looked at her sympathetically under the desk. "Chief, you can come out now. The director is gone." Bobae helped So-eun up and back into her seat. Then another voice called out for So-eun. "Is Ms. So-eun here?" Her heart, already startled by the director's voice, jumped again at hearing her name. She tried to hide under her desk again, but the person calling her name was unexpected. It was a delivery man holding a bouquet of flowers. "Yes, here." The delivery man approached So-eun. "Are you Ms. So-eun?" "Yes, it's me." "Please sign here, Ms. So-eun." The delivery man handed over a receipt for So-eun to sign. She signed blankly and received the flowers and gift. "Chief, what is this? Is it medicine?" It was a large bouquet and 3 packets of herbal hangover remedies, described as containing valuable herbs gentle on the liver. At the bottom of the receipt, the sender's address was written. Law firm Hyun-ji. The gift was from Hee-wook's office. So-eun's face brightened. "I was disappointed this morning because he hadn't contacted me, but he was thinking of me." The disappointment she felt yesterday melted away. Hee-wook, having just started work, saw So-eun's message. "Appa, I saw the gift you sent. Thank you so much. I'm really touched." He was still tired and hadn't called her yet, so he was confused by her words. As he blinked blankly at his phone, Choi Hyun-ji, standing beside him, said, "It's So-eun, right? She's thanked to you for the gift. Just say you're glad she liked it." "I'm glad you liked it. I have a lot of work, so I'll talk to you later." He sent the message quickly and looked at Hyun-ji, puzzled. Hyun-ji smiled and confessed. "I sent flowers and hangover remedies to So-eun at her office. I didn't put a sender's name, just the address, so So-eun must think it's from you. It worked out well, right?" Hee-wook's eyes widened. It was a kind gesture, but also felt like overstepping. Choi Hyun-ji was bright and popular among her colleagues, always attentive and considerate. Recently, she had become closer to Hee-wook, making him feel pleased. But her special interest extending to his girlfriend made him uncomfortable. He didn't want So-eun getting close to Hyun-ji or anyone else at the firm. He especially didn't want anyone to know that So-eun had donated part of her liver to his mother. Hee-wook had kept So-eun's liver donation a secret. Right after his mother's liver transplant, he had a confidentiality agreement drawn up and signed by the hospital, anonymizing all records. Finding the record of So-eun's donation would now be very difficult. Hee-wook was exceptionally skilled at manipulating documents. Hee-wook had cleared his selfish past, which could have hindered his promising future as a lawyer. As long as Han So-eun kept quiet, no one would know about his mother's liver donor. No one would criticize him or his family for being selfish. Lawyer Yang, you drank a lot last night too. I thought you might forget and not take care of it, so I did it for you. I thought it was a thoughtful gift and wanted some praise. Hee-wook didn't feel grateful for Hyun-ji's overstepping, but he responded politely. Hyun-ji's face fell at his reaction, and her pouting voice forced him to say something kind. Thank you, but you don't need to do it again. But still, I called So-eun to come all the way here, and we couldn't pay attention to her. Our conversation must have been boring, and she left early. I felt really sorry. It's really okay. You don't need to worry. It can't be okay. She's going to be your wife someday. Hyun-ji murmured with drooping shoulders, and Hee-wook's heart sank just as much. He didn't want to marry So-eun. If it weren't for her pretty face and good figure, their relationship would have ended in a few months. If only it hadn't been for the surgery. After the surgery, facing reality made him regret his situation more. When are you going to marry So-eun? Hee-wook's voice grew quieter. You never know with these things. What kind of answer is that? Wait, did you fight last night? No, not really. Really? Did you fight? Hyun-ji's eyes widened. Did Miss So-eun get angry? It wasn't because of me, right? Huh. Why would we fight because of you? It's not that. Still, I seem close to you, and I am close to you. So maybe she noticed and felt uncomfortable. If I were in her place, I'd feel jealous and upset too. If I were. Hee-wook felt a thrill at Hyun-ji's words. Hyun-ji, looking worried, quickly changed the topic. By the way, didn't I make a mistake? I think I called you Appa last night. Was that a dream? Finding the conversation with Hyun-ji enjoyable, Hee-wook chuckled. Really? Did I? Oh my gosh. Well, it happens. I am older than you, after all. You can call me that when it's just the two of us. Hee-wook said generously to Hyun-ji, whose face had turned red with embarrassment. Her face brightened again. Really? Wow. Does that mean I've got a new appa? Sure. You can think of it that way. Hee-wook replied awkwardly. Really? I do what I'm told. Hyun-ji grabbed Hee-wook's arm and shook it, as if urging him to confirm. Finding her cute, Hee-wook felt his heart grow heavier. Now that he had cleaned up his past, his present felt wasted. If it weren't for his promise to marry Han So-eun, he could have gotten closer to Choi Hyun-ji. When he heard his mother was in the hospital, Hyun-ji had rearranged her busy schedule and was the only colleague who came to visit, almost in a panic. A woman with a good family background, education, job, beauty, and kindness. Choi Hyun-ji was a woman he desired in many ways. She was a stark contrast to Han So-eun. Tae-joon, who arrived at work early, first visited the mobile services team. Naturally, he stood from a distance and looked for So-eun's seat. If it had been quiet, he could have approached her, but an employee greeted him loudly, so he could only see her from afar. The moment the word director was mentioned, she hid under her desk, indicating she remembered the events of the previous day. Her foolish action amused Tae-joon, making him smile slightly. Even if you hide, you'll have to come when I call you. Tae-joon liked his current position. He went to his office with a light heart. His secretary, Song Moon-kyung, who was guarding the office, stood up to greet Tae-joon. Tae-joon added another friendly comment as he passed by, bowing his head slightly. You don't need to stand up every time. Moon-kyung, newly married and 2 months pregnant, had served Tae-joon's aunt, Kim Suk-hwa, president of K Electronics Home Appliances, for a long time. Suk-hwa had sent her to K Electronic Services, hoping to ease Tae-joon's transition into the company. Despite having a secretary 10 years older, Tae-joon treated Moon-kyung kindly, without complaint. A veteran secretary, Moon-kyung, also didn't feel burdened by her much younger boss and managed her work skillfully. Thanks to her, Tae-joon grasped the system of K Electronic Services within a few days of his appointment. Please contact Chief So-eun from the mobile services team and ask her to come to my office. After instructing Moon-kyung, Tae-joon entered his office and placed the glasses he had in his pocket on the desk. Clearing his mind and sorting out the events of the previous night made him feel refreshed. I'll do as I please. If he had sought out So-eun with impure intentions, he might as well play along. It would be a waste to do nothing after coming back to Korea early. He was someone who knew how to be calculating. And he was someone who could start his day by bringing So-eun before him. Bowing her head, So-eun froze and couldn't look up. Tae-joon, who had been sitting at his desk, stood up and walked over to her. His slow, deliberate steps made him seem like a tiger, increasing her fear. So-eun swallowed nervously. She felt as if he was glaring at her with a sharp gaze. She wanted him to get straight to the point, thinking it was better to get it over with, but he didn't speak even when he got close. Trembling, she slowly raised her head. She flinched, even though she knew he was close. Meeting his eyes made her feel suffocated. But she couldn't avoid it. He stood there, blocking her way like a predator watching its prey. Tae-joon stood up and approached So-eun, whose shoulders hunched with every step he took. She didn't look up until he was very close. Standing silently, Tae-joon watched as her head slowly lifted, her eyes widening in surprise. With her large glasses gone, her clear face was fully visible. Tae-joon felt a sense of clarity, as if a cloud had lifted. Her small face, balanced features, and large, dark eyes under the light resembled dew-on fruit, enticing him. It wasn't just nostalgia. Her delicate appearance, fair skin, and soft-looking flesh made him want to touch her and see how she would react. So-eun had something that stirred a person's desire to possess. He felt a heat gathering in his core. I want to have this woman in the palm of my hand. So to do that, after standing silently for a while, he spoke. Before we talk about work, don't you have anything to say? When Tae-joon asked teasingly, So-eun's dry lips parted. I'm really sorry about yesterday. He gave her the opening, and she quickly apologized. What are you sorry for? I was drunk. I said things that were rude. Do you remember what you said? Unable to say she didn't remember, but also unable to say she remembered everything, she hesitated. Bits and pieces. Bits and pieces. How can you know what was rude if you only remember bits and pieces? Still, I'm sorry. Fine. Let's move on. Tae-joon decided to let it go since that wasn't the main issue. Her speech, unlike yesterday, was tedious. Tae-joon thought it was more amusing and human when she was drunk. He felt disheartened at the thought of her glasses and stiff speech returning if he gave them back. You're not wearing glasses. Are you wearing contacts? He figured he should give them back, so he started to move his hand when she spoke cautiously. Director, have you seen my glasses by any chance? Tae-joon's lips curved slightly. I don't know. Are they expensive? They're not, but they're precious to me. My boyfriend gave them to me. Didn't you fight with your boyfriend? So-eun's eyes shook, as if saying, did I tell him that yesterday? We had a brief fight, but made up. Anyway, have you seen my glasses? I think I had them when I left the bar, but they were gone this morning. After giving short answers, she suddenly added detailed explanations about this. What did she want him to do about it? I haven't seen them. Tae-joon no longer felt like returning them. That's a shame. I hope you find them. He nearly added that they didn't suit her anyway, but changed the topic. Now, let's get to business, Chief Han. Her expression showed she was bracing herself, taking a deep breath. I told you to wrap up your current work. Do you remember that? Yes, I remember. Satisfied with her answer, Tae-joon reached for the doorknob. As he opened the door and looked back, So-eun followed his lead. Once she was out, Tae-joon also left the office. Tae-joon's office was located at the end of the corridor on the 7th floor. And next to that was an empty room. Tae-joon opened the door to the room. Secretary Song? When Tae-joon called her, Munjeong stood up from her desk. Right here. Set up a desk in this room. Inform the HR department that we're forming a new team with Ms. Han So-eun as the team leader. Yes, I understand. How about the team members? What about the team name? Let's call it the Future Services Team. Set it up by Monday morning. No need to send it up for approval. I'll report it to the president myself. After giving the order to Munjeong, Tae-joon turned to So-eun. You heard that, Assistant Manager Han. Starting next week, report to this office. So-eun stood in a daze for a long time. There were stories on the internet about this kind of workplace harassment. Creating a team with a made-up name to pressure someone into quitting on their own. The current situation was just like those online stories. Given the accident she caused and the drunken ranting at her boss, this scenario was entirely plausible.